What's good?
Hey.
What up? What's up?
Ooh, happy Thursday, everybody. It's Thursday again, and I am happy to be here. But what's up with y'all? Welcome to Root Access Live. We are your hosts. I'm your girl, Coco. I got my boy, Mr. Root, and my bro, Jinx here. We appreciate y'all stopping by tonight. So before we go any further, you know what I want y'all to do. Y'all already know. I want y'all to go ahead and start hitting that share button. Invite all your friends to come join us at Root Access Live right here on Facebook and YouTube if you are watching it. We appreciate y'all. What somebody is
No, that was me. I was trying to share it and then it got all loud. My fault.
All right. But whatever. Yo, you know what? It's still March History Month, so with that being said, I do want to give a quote from Madam Vice President, Miss Kamala Harris, and it goes a little something like this: women who fought and sacrificed so much for equality and liberty and justice for all, including the Black women who are too often overlooked, but so often proved they are the backbone of our democracy. So, like I said, it is still March is Women's History Month. So I just want to say to all the ladies, again, let's give them their flowers. We appreciate you all, especially those who are in leadership and are paving the ways. And tonight, we got hot topics. So in our hot topics, we'll include Vice President Kamala Harris. We'll talk about some Kanye West. We're going to talk about Governor Cuomo and Baby Legends. So what's up, fellas? What's up? What's good?
What up?
Ready for a good.
Hey, James, your mic is covering your mouth, bro.
Oh, it's okay. You don't need to see my mouth as long as you hear my voice, right?
No.
All right.
What?
Yeah, I don't know what's going on.
Yeah,
I don't know what's going on here.
It happens like when your boss says something to you, you kind of rebuttal a little bit, but when you see he's not playing with you, you just got to do it. So I had to move his mic.
Gosh. What is
wrong? We had this conversation about 30 seconds before we came on here. How you get fired? Stuff like that. Did we not just have that conversation?
Fired on air.
Anyway,
we really did have that conversation, Cole.
Just now. Anyway, let's talk about some hot topics before we. Oh, well, you know what? Y'all got me so distracted. I wanted to tell the folks that we got 2 guests tonight.
Yeah.
Right. We popping tonight. We're gonna be on fire. Speaking of fired, we're gonna be on fire. We got 2 guests tonight. We got
What you did there?
Tell me his name one more time. Moon. Moon is a Christian rap artist who's going to come and talk about his journey in the Christian rap business. And we got the legendary Miss Jonesy in the morning. Yes, Miss Jones is going to be in the building tonight. She's coming on later in the show, but I want you all to stay tuned. Like I said, we got the hot topics popping, so we just going to get right into it. We might as well go into your boy Kanye West. Woo! His status has changed completely. Your boy is worth $6.6 billion now. What's
with
up?
A B.
Oh, with a B. I did say B. Yeah.
No, do y'all see that? The article that I read like three different articles, and each article said the same thing: the richest Black man in U.S. history.
Well, then I read too that it turns out that he is actually not the richest Black man in history or in America. They said it was in America.
It's in America.
Yeah, in America.
People are mixing it up. It's a whole lot of black billionaires in Africa, plenty in Nigeria, but we're talking America. And the thing is, here's the thing, and I think this story gets convoluted. It goes away back and forth because of Kanye's antics and because of his episodes. So people don't really take him serious. He's kind of said this last year.
I was going to say, I think at the beginning of our history of Root Access Live, I think we kind of touched on that. He had a history.
We did.
When Forbes declared him, one of the top, or he was the top earning rapper or something.
Yeah.
And he had a hissy fit. Yeah. He got a lot of backlash out of that too.
So this was out last year, and it kind of went away. And then, the media paints the narrative like, it's Jay-Z. And although we love Jay-Z and we report on him all the time, and kudos to him, Kanye is the richest, not just rapper, not just athlete. When you go down this estimated list, which I'm about to go down, he is the richest black man in America, over Robert Smith, over Bob Johnson, over Michael Jordan, over Sean Carter, Jay-Z, over Oprah Winfrey.
Okay.
He is the one. And this is the estimate, all right? His Yeezy brand, which he has a deal with Adidas until 2026. I'm sure they'll renew, but that's worth $3.7 billion. All right. Yeezy alone, which, mind you guys, he owns 100% of Yeezy.
Okay. Well, you said billion?
Billion with a B, yes.
So that's half of the 6.6.
That's already half.
Okay. Yeah. All right.
And let's be clear, he owns 100% of Yeezy. Adidas is just the distributor. Just like when Master P came out with No Limit, he owned 100% of No Limit. Priority Records was the distributor. So they get a portion for distributing, but that's it. He owns Yeezy outright. If you know anything about how this works, initially Kanye was with Nike. Right. The one that came out with Nike, the infrareds, all of that. The reason he left Nike is because he wanted more ownership. They told him, and they told him they only give that type of carte blanche to athletes. As a rapper or whatever, you're not getting that. And I don't even think he wanted 100% ownership, but he wanted some ownership and he wanted to make more decisions. They told him no, he was
themselves now.
Oh, I mean, yes and no.
Yeah, but that one thing about Kanye West, he gonna get what he want.
He gonna get what he wants.
But you know why I say they're kicking themselves is because every business, when you get as big as Nike and Adidas and Reebok or what have you, you want to corner the market. You want to monopolize the market.
That's true.
And so from that standpoint, I mean, look at Nike, right? Nike has the two. I mean, you look at LeBron James and Michael Jordan, right? They have shoe stories. Right, they have stories of shoes. They cornered that market, and so what Adidas did was they took a huge chunk of being able to monopolize the market away. Can you imagine if Nike had Kanye too? Come on, bro.
Yeah, that would be crazy. Yeah, so that's that. So now he has. Remember, we reported last year he did the deal with Gap.
Yep.
So that Gap Yeezy deal, which merchandise and clothes will be released this year. That deal is worth $1.6 billion. Then you have Yeezy Supply. That's the place where you go and you get your Yeezys outside of Adidas. So you got Adidas app and then you got Yeezy Supply. Yeezy Supply is worth $1.5 billion. Then he has $123 million in cash and stocks. Ooh. That's cash and carry in the bank. $123 million in cash and stocks. Then he has $100 million in Skims investments. Don't even really know what that is. He has $100 million in that. Then he has $68 million. $68 million in buildings and improvement.
Ooh.
Then he has $48 million in land. $48 million worth of land. That's not even built upon yet. Just land. You talking about possessing the land? All right.
How
Then
many? How many?
48 million, Coco.
Is
of
that
land.
significant than 40
40
acres
acres
and a
and a
mule?
mule?
Is that
That's a very good question.
significant?
But that's a very good question. I mean, it depends on how many people getting that, because all three of us on this we are deserving of 40 acres and a mule.
We ain't getting it though. We ain't getting it though.
So then he has $10 million, guys, worth of artwork. $10 million. So he probably got a Picasso, or whatever. And who knows? Well, not the Mona, but you know what I'm saying. Then he has $7 million worth of jewelry. People say, "Oh, why these rappers gotta wear all of that?" And if you look at Ye, he don't even be wearing it. He don't wear jewelry no more. That's not even a thing. But he has $7 million worth of jewelry, $5 million worth of cars, $3 million in machinery and equipment. That's probably his studio equipment, his MPC 2000, all of that type of stuff. State-of-the-art equipment, I'm sure. Then he has $1.5 million worth of livestock. We talking sheep, we talking horses, we talking cows, we talking goats. Because again, he has the farm in where is that? In Utah, wherever he goes.
I thought it was
Wyoming.
Arizona.
Thank you. It's Wyoming.
Okay.
He has that in Wyoming. They said the ranch is nuts. So that is an estimated $6.6 billion. When we say these things of they're worth this much, it's not that they have the cash in the bank. However, if you cash all of that in, that's what you got. And he is the richest.
You said this Skims investment, and so I had to look it up, right? And so Skims is to do with like undergarments and body shapers and things like that. So I don't know if you know this, but his, I guess, soon to be ex-wife has a body shaper line.
She does.
Well, guess what? That's partly his too. So that's where that is. So he even has a hand in that.
Yeah. So now and I'm glad you brought that up because, excuse me, that's going to be the major key in this divorce. I don't know if they have a prenup. I've been hearing that she's saying she don't want anything from him, which she don't really need it.
You don't need it, right?
However, sometimes that's not how it goes. No. Everybody's not a Tracy Edmonds where her and Babyface get divorced. She's like, I don't want nothing of his. He don't want nothing of mine. They can go their merry way and still be cool. Who knows what's going to happen? But they're in California, so we already know what that means. And her mother's Kris Jenner.
That was my next thing. Her mother is Kris Jenner. And just like Tahira is saying in the comments, Kim K is about to get a huge check, whether she needs it or wants it. Those kids are going to be set. Their grandkids going to be set. $6.6 billion is a lot of lifetimes. I'm telling you that right now. So everybody is straight. Like I said, Kanye West, as much as we may despise that young man, I'm telling you, he got it. He's smart.
Yeah. He's extremely smart. And I think that what people need to understand is Kanye did something that most people aspire to do.
Absolutely.
He utilized his platform as a rapper to open several doors outside of the music, in the rap game, right? And I think that that's a life lesson for all of us. I think Root is frozen right now, but I think that's a lesson for all of us to understand, like, look, you can utilize different platforms to get what you need. And Kanye, if we don't learn nothing else from Kanye, we can learn how to not just settle in one arena. Use every arena as a stepping stone to the next. And Kanye West is showing us how to do that.
That's right.
Can you guys see me now?
Yeah, you were frozen for a minute, but you're back, bro.
I don't know what's happening, man.
It's going to work. But anyway, we were talking about millions and billions in money, and I'm looking at your shirt, and you posted a picture of it today. I want to get into that. Let's get into that real quick. Just real quick. Millions, billions, trillions. I don't know the significance of it. What's up with it?
It's pretty much self-explanatory. This is my boy Travis Malloy's clothing line. He's killing the game. DMX has been wearing it. So many other celebrities. Jonathan Nelson. Just everybody. And then he's very transparent when he posts. He's posting all of his his orders that he has to ship out. So I think this one is going for. I think all of them the hoodies go for like $50.
Yeah.
And it's dope. Okay. It's very comfortable. And it's dope, man. Millions, billions, trillions. We declaring it. We speaking it. We gonna get one of these. The M, the B, or the T.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
You know what's crazy? I know this wasn't on our hot topics, but I love what you did there, Coco. Because what I love about what Travis Malloy did, Travis Malloy took his own confession and shared it with the world. Like his confession, his personal confession is, I will have millions, billions, and trillions. Like that's his confession. And what he did is he's like, yo, I'm going to speak this by faith, but I'm going to share this so that the momentum grows and builds. And but this is almost working like a self-fulfilled prophecy, because he's making money with this declaration. Right. And I mean, so many people are getting this. I'm going to order one, right? Because I'm like, yo, this one is crazy. And it's like every time you see it, you rehearse it in your mind. Every time you rehearse it in your mind. And it's like it's working, man. And so I'm big up to Travis Malloy. I think big up to Travis Malloy. Just in the game, whether it's R&B, gospel. I think he's worked with everybody under the sun who's any type of big time, artist. But I mean, big ups to Travis Malloy, man. It's huge.
Dope, dude. Write the vision, make it plain. But speaking of confessions, should Cuomo resign? That is the latest thing. In the latest tasteless news, Governor Cuomo has been alleged to have sexually harassed former aides and the mishandling of data pertaining to 19 deaths in the nursing home due to COVID-19. Now, they have been conducting polls, and those of public opinion have been leaning towards a resignation. But now I'm seeing, while we were on, I was doing a little bit of research. I'm seeing it's like 50-50 now, like bipartisan, with people or voters wanting him to resign.
Coco, before we move to this important news, that's the second most brilliant segue you've done tonight. You on fire, girl.
Okay.
You on fire.
It's the segues for me.
Yo, I'm just gonna give you big ups, big sis.
I'm gonna take my flowers right now. It
is Women's History Month.
Hello?
Appreciate that. I definitely appreciate it. Definitely.
Look, we all know you do this, but you doing this tonight. You feel me?
Come on.
But yes, it is so funny, not funny, but funny by interesting that all of this is coming out with Governor Cuomo, because he's been in the forefront. People look at him as leading the charge in the whole coronavirus pandemic, right? They looked at New York and, how he was dealing with the pandemic in New York. And so many people wanted him to actually enter into the presidential race. Right. So many people were actually talking about, President Biden maybe picking him as a vice president or even a secretary of some committee on his staff. And so now to see this is kind of devastating, but interesting at the same time, because it's like, did these individuals wait until he kind of blew up to bring? And I'm not diminishing the validity of the complaints, because only they know what really happened, and of course God knows. But I'm just talking about from the standpoint of, did they wait until now to come out, or did it happen during that time? I don't know, but it's a sad story, because here this guy literally was on the upward trajectory. Like, even if he didn't, and we know he didn't get called by President Biden, or he hadn't got called as of yet, but who knows what would have happened and knows where his career would have gone. But now he can't go anywhere near Biden. And so it's just like, man, like you never know. But man, it's just a sad story. It's a sad story.
Biden is calling for his resignation, actually.
Okay. So I saw a report, but I didn't know how valid that report was.
Yeah. I actually saw it was a video of him saying it, like he should resign, which is pretty sad. I think it's all a setup, pretty much by the Republican Party. They know what they're doing. Again, we had these same type of accusations with Trump, and he made it all the way to the White House. So this is clearly. I was talking to my wife, I think last week. I was like, I would hate to be like a single man right now. Because what are the boundaries? Like, he's a single man. And again, I'm not, like Jinx said, I'm not taking away from the validity of some of these claims. That's not what I'm doing. But I'm sure there were some things where maybe he was just flirting or whatever. And so, like, what's the line now?
Yeah.
Like, everything is so sensitive.
Everybody knows when a woman is uncomfortable. So there is no real justification. If a woman is uncomfortable, no means no. There is point blank, period.
But is everybody uncomfortable, or is this a meal ticket now? Or is it?
I mean, so in some cases it could be. Let's just jump on this bandwagon right here. Let's see what we can get out of it, whether it's publicity, whether it's, monetary or whatever. And some people are just like that. They want to be in the know. They want to be in the spotlight, no matter what it is. Public relations, in PR, what they say, all PR is good PR.
Right. So what are your thoughts as a woman?
Yeah, that's what I was getting ready to ask you. What do you think?
What are your thoughts on this? Like, do you feel like?
I absolutely think he should resign. I absolutely do. That is not leadership, and that's one thing I always speak about. Mostly every show, I always talk about people being in leadership and what you can do to make things better. You being an alleged sexual harasser is not good leadership. What do you teach your children? I don't have children. Jinx, you have boys. If that person is in leadership and this is the person you see they should follow, then you have a domino effect of tastelessness. Let's just say that.
This wasn't a part of what we were going to talk about, but unfortunately, Deshaun Watson of the Houston Texans, he's the quarterback. He's facing the same thing. 3 women have come out in just this week accusing him of the exact same thing.
It's disgusting.
The thing about it is, guys, is the same questions that we have in regards to Cuomo, pretty much the same questions that people have in regards to what's going on with Deshaun Watson. Like, is it real? Is it legitimate? And I think that's something that we have to be careful of doing, right? Because if it is legitimate, right, and these women are legitimately victims, I can't imagine how they would feel if they felt like someone was harassing them, but yet the masses discredited them because of the status and stature of the accused, right? And it just goes to show your status should not absolve you from being held accountable. Correct. If you are guilty. And I think what happens is it takes a lot of guts for an offended individual to come out and speak on their vulnerability in a situation like this, right? Because they know, they've got to know what the backlash could be with them coming out with this kind of information. Right. So they have to deal with, number one, they have to deal with what happened to them, the emotional side of it all, right? How that's affecting them. Then they have to go through the court of public opinion. Oh, this person is just up for a money grab. This person is just trying to get, some clout. So I can't even imagine what they're going through if in fact these accusations are legit, man. And so it's crazy, but I can see both sides, but man, I think this is crazy.
And you know what? It's sad though too for when people say flirting, and sometimes it's not even flirting, and it takes away from men who are genuinely complimenting, women. And, at the end of the day, every woman wants to be complimented. Everybody wants to be complimented, man, woman, whoever. You get up, start your day, you get dressed, you think you're looking fly, you might put on a little perfume, cologne, you smell good. Everybody wants a compliment. But nowadays, you can't even compliment people because they're going to take it as flirting or harassment. So
that's what Johnny Cat just said. Johnny Cat said flirting today can be harassment tomorrow. And it's true. But
what he said at the end was depends on her mood.
Right. But
that's
I'm gonna keep it a
part of that.
I'm gonna keep it a buck because now we have a group of men who have come out as of late talking about how they've been sexually harassed, which is a completely different topic. So it's not just from a man to a woman. It could be from a woman to a man as well.
Yeah, that's not taken seriously though. Let's keep it a buck.
It's not. It's really not.
And it's really sad. But you know what? Harassment comes in all forms. It comes in gender, and now it's coming in hate crimes against Asian Americans. A couple of weeks ago, or a couple of days ago, was it yesterday or 2 days ago? A young man, went and killed 8 people, shot up 8 people because he had a problem, with his sexual habits. I guess he was a porn addict, or he was a sex addict, and he viewed those spas. He went to spas and shot up 8 people. He viewed those spas as triggers of him going through, I guess, sobriety from sex.
And the police officer said he had a bad day.
He was having a bad day.
He was having a bad day. It's hilarious when it's a white man doing this type of tragedy, doing these type of acts, these heinous acts. It's, oh man, he woke up on the wrong side of the bed, man. Let's move on. That's the attitude.
It's disgusting.
Yeah, but it seems like, I don't know if you all heard of any of the reports or the recordings, but they said a while ago that same officer, or what do you call the head of the officers?
The sheriff,
or the head guy, whatever, lieutenant, whatever he was. He had a racial meme on his Facebook.
Oh, he did.
Against Asians, like last year during the pandemic.
Bingo.
So, he already, like, he's not, oh, he had a bad day. Like, you're just trying to brush it off or brush it under the rug as if it's okay. Like, oh, tomorrow will be different. Let's just go sit him down, give him a pill, give him a Tylenol, let him take a nap, cool off. Like, no, this is all wrong. That whole police department, or that whole department that he's leading, probably needs to be dismantled and investigated as well. This is all unacceptable.
It was perpetuated by the man in the White House before Biden, man. Let's keep it real. He was the one who started all of this. This is the China virus. This is Asian.
Exactly.
They listen to him. His base listens to him. This is not by happenstance. People are not just waking up saying, "Oh, let's now beat up Asians." Now this is from the top coming on down. You know what I'm saying? Like,
it is for sure. You cannot deny that, right? And I think the part that Root you initially were talking about was how the sheriff gets on and tries to like diminish the severity of what this did by talking about, oh, he just had a bad day. I had a bad day yesterday and the day before that. Okay. But I didn't go screw up nobody. I didn't go take my anger or my aggression out on people who are innocent. And you want to talk about a bad day? Well, get a hobby. Go to the gym. Run. Go to the gun range for all I care.
Go to church, being that you want to work on your addiction.
Do something. But this is like, you cannot. I just feel like what's starting to happen. What's continuing to happen is like anybody who commits a heinous crime, as long as they're not black, it's something wrong with that person. Something emotionally wrong with them. Something mentally wrong with them. But if it's a black man or a black woman, they're a thug and they're a criminal. And the narrative is just disgusting. Right. But what do we expect? Because this is something that's been an underlying tone in America since way back when, hundreds of years ago, which has now been emboldened by the former president. And so now we are going to deal with this for who knows how long, because now it's like, this is what it is. This is what we've just been emboldened to do this.
Yeah.
Pretty sad, man. Rest in peace to all of those who lost their lives yesterday. That's it's sickening, man. And now they're trying to say, Coco, it wasn't a hate crime.
It was a hate crime.
It's because he had a bad day and because of his porn addiction.
Oh, man,
okay, so and you target, or what triggers you are Asian people. They have spas. I mean, all of the things or all of the amenities that they offer trigger sex. So I believe that was a hate crime. I'm sorry. I don't think that was having
Hello?
They love to spin it.
Johnny.
Yeah, like I have a bad day, I don't turn it into a massacre, but I
couldn't agree.
Sick of the excuses, man.
Yeah, and you know what? It was brought to my attention not too long ago, another nasty or, almost could have been deadly event. Jinx, let's talk about this Vice President Kamala Harris thing. Like, come on.
I got you. So the report came out yesterday, and Shaun King, everyone knows who Shaun King is, right? But I don't know who's a bigger activist and advocate for the African American minority community. He broke a story yesterday, and it was interesting because it just goes to show you how crazy society can be, right? So there's a guy by the name of Paul Murray. No one knew who Paul Murray was until Paul Murray decides to go to Vice President Kamala Harris's house with a rifle and ammunition in a backpack. His rifle is loaded and he's looking to shoot the house up. I don't even know where to begin with this story. Thank God he was arrested, because maybe he didn't realize that the Secret Service guards their houses, whether they're there or not. So maybe he was too dumb to realize that. I don't know what made him think that he could show up to Madam Vice President's house thinking that she was going to be there, number one, or anyone was going to be there for that matter. And the Secret Service did take him into custody, but like, come on, guys, like, really?
Yeah.
Okay. And you know what? I honestly didn't know that, and I'm gonna need that to get
Me
a
either,
little bit
James.
more cover. I
Thank
would
you.
probably
That got
like
no
a little
coverage,
more
Coco.
coverage or press
Zero
on
coverage.
that. So
And that
yeah,
was no coverage on
I
Kate's
think
argument.
we should kind of like, you know, dig more into that. I want to read up on that. I didn't know that. Like I said, that was just into me. So
The media spins everything how they want to spin it. They hide things that they want to hide. Like, I'm telling you, this world is ran by media.
to do it. And
Yeah,
wow.
it is. It is.
Wow.
Just don't
All I
say
can
it.
say
How
is
can
wow.
that should be headline news? That should have been on the cover of New York Times, the Post, the Daily News in every major city. That's ridiculous. The first time I heard about it was a few minutes ago. Because even when Jinx sent it to us in the text, it wasn't clear. Like I saw a VP, but it was just like in pieces. So I was just like, what? Kamala Harris? That's a huge threat.
So, and who is Paul Murray? What's his deal? Like,
No idea. And
why he beefing with Why he beefing with Madam President? Why he beefing?
Yo, and that was the crazy part right there, Coco, because that is exactly what Shaun King was saying. He was like, yo, this dude's face has not been publicized enough. We don't have enough information about what happened. Why isn't this national news? I'll tell you what, though, if he was outside of Mike Pence's house, it would have been all over.
Oh, sure.
Can I use my stimmy to buy some white privilege, please?
Hello, for real.
All the stimmy in the world. You can have Kanye 6.6 billion and you still can't buy it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I'm gonna need some more
because I know that we got a packed show tonight, and I know we've got a couple more hot topics to go. But our guest Vi Moon is here, so I'm getting ready to bring him on the stage. Come on, let's bring him up. Bring him up.
Bring him out. Bring him out.
What's up, man?
Welcome.
What's up? What's up,
Vi Moon? Welcome to Root Access Live, bro.
Thank you.
Yo, so we're gonna get right into this route. We want to play his video.
Yeah, man. I really like the video, so I want to play a piece of it.
Bring him out. Let's just head right into it.
Let's get it. Bamu, this is your piece. Get it together. So why don't you tell us a little bit about it? Give us like a 30-second elevator pitch, and then we're gonna play this, John, man.
All right, man. This is for anybody that done lost somebody that's going through this pain, this hurt that we're going through today. You can't always rely on somebody else to tell you to get back on your feet. Sometimes in this society, we got to strengthen ourselves, man. So we got to get it together, brush that dirt off our shoulders, and keep pushing, keep the faith, and keep growing, man.
Perfect, man. So let's play this joint real quick. Let's see what we got.
Root Access video premiere.
Here we go.
I think that's just the track.
That's just the track?
Yeah. That's not the actual video.
Oh, that's the track. All right, we'll play a little bit of it.
All right.
Last time I tried to get by on my own, led to frustration. Jesus, I don't want to live life all alone. I trust your graces. Marathons, Lord, help me pace it. Upgrade me, I don't want basic. Help me to be a better man. I'll take your hand and go to places I've never been. It's heaven sent. All the good you giving me don't make sense. I done tripped up, I done slipped up once again. No more sin, no more shame. I ain't saying don't make mistakes. All I'm saying is I ain't stand there, learn from them and make a change. It don't change your love for me. He blessed me despite my ways. Child lock my destiny. Don't let me leave in Jesus' name. Let me go. He broke the chains of defeat. I'm winning this victory sweet. Take it from me. But when I'm feeling down bad, sad, Jesus help me. I'm sinking low. Can you help me off the floor? Can you help give me more dough? I know that you saved, but I can't feel you no more. Remind me what feelings are for. I'm tired of the pain. What does it profit me to complain? Get this apart from me, I won't change. The change was given. So I need to check out, feel it, know I forget it, and get it together.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Get it together.
Okay.
Vi Moon. Hey, Vi, what was the inspiration behind that song? I know your son had something to do with that song as well. Tell us a bit about that.
Yeah, like I was saying earlier, man. Just I was in a pretty rough spot at the time, and just kind of climbing out. And though I had people around me that were very inspiring, very encouraging, sometimes, man, you just gotta, you gotta just encourage yourself, man. So I'm working on this album at the same time while going through my troubles. And the name of the beat actually was "Get It Together." Shout out to SM Tracks. He's produced for T.I., he's produced for Kodak Black and other cats. The name of the beat was called "Get It Together," and it just spoke to me. It was like, that's what I need to do right now. I need to get it together. My faith, I'm a Christian. I'm a believer in Jesus Christ. He's still on the throne, bro. Get your stuff together, get back out here and keep pushing. So I started writing to myself, and hopefully as people are going through hard times now, they can resonate and relate to it.
That's super dope, bro. How long have you been in the rap game, man? What's your, what's your timeline? Yeah,
I've been an artist for many years, but I started doing it. I guess you would call it a Christian or gospel base for about 7 years now. But okay. I've been rapping since I was about 9, 10 years old, through high school, through college, and here we are, man.
Okay.
Yeah, man.
First of all, I want to give you a compliment. Loving your flow, digging it, definitely. But I want to know, how it is trying to bridge a gap or influence the younger folks through the Christian hip hop. I know you said you've been doing it for 7 years or so. I also, had a show, about around that same time frame, and we were trying to bring out the Christian rap. So what are some of your challenges, trying to get this out there, bridge that gap, like I was saying?
That's a great question. The biggest challenge is tradition. And the thing about it is the audience, they love the music. The audience isn't the challenge. The biggest challenge is moving through the politics of tradition and religion and those type of politics. So if you can maneuver through that and get your music to who you feel like it should go to, whatever that base is, without all the politics telling you, hey, you need to talk about Jesus more, or you're being a little too edgy, if you can do without all that, if you can maneuver through that and find your lane and stick to it and become successful at it, then I think you'll be going somewhere. So for me, it hasn't been trying to convince people to listen. You guys were just talking about some dark stuff that's happening to us right now, right? Times are dark. People want to hear encouragement. They want to hear some inspiration. That may not be what they jam to when they headed to the spot, but every now and then you're going to want to hear that. So that's not really the big issue. The big issue is the politics, and by the grace of God, we just move through that and get it to people that need it.
Yo, man, one of the things I love about you, and this is the first time I'm meeting you, but I can tell that you're passionate about your purpose, man. And that's something that's going to rub off on people regardless of what you spit, right? So I think that's working in your favor as it relates to getting the message out to people, because they're going to be like, yo, this dude is so passionate about his purpose and about his music and about the message behind the music, and that's huge. So you talked about you're working on an album now. What number is this? Is this 1, 2, 3? What you want?
Wow, this is actually my 5th project.
Okay.
I have 4 projects out. You can type my name in, Vi Moon, on Spotify, Tidal, Apple Music, wherever you stream music. On my YouTube, it doesn't show all of my albums because I wanted to use that as sort of a little resume, if you will, because people may not have time to visit all that. But hopefully they'll see that and want to dive deeper and find my other 4 projects that are out worldwide. So this will be project number 5, man. And it's been a grind. And the thing about my grind, it's not about, of course, you want your music to be heard by as many people as possible, but you have to cater to the audience you have in that moment, in that season. And so for these projects, they have been stepping stones for me to get to this place. And we'll just continue growing. You know what I mean? So, this is project number 5. Obviously, the artist in me will be like, this is the best project, right? That's what artists say. But I will say this is a very different project because this is the first project where I'm not the sole producer. So on other projects, I'm the sole producer. And this is also a project where I've gone through a lot of personal challenges in the midst of me making my transition to gospel hip hop or whatever you want to call it. So it's going to be a very unique project compared to my last, but I think there's still quality music in those other projects as well until we get to this one. So it's a beautiful journey, man.
Now, every time we have rappers on here, man, I got to get this answer. Your top 5 dead or alive.
Yo, no doubt. So for me, these may be cliche answers. I'm sorry, but I gotta give them. Definitely Pop. Love Kendrick. This is gonna sound cliche because of the tragedy that happened to this guy, but I've been on this guy for about 10 years. Nipsey Hussle. I've been on Hussle since 09, so I'm not a bandwagon.
Wow.
I didn't know him personally, but I mean, I've been listening to his music since 2009.
Mixtape Nipsey Hussle.
Bullets ain't got no name, Nipsey. You feel me?
Yeah.
And Nipsey was one of those guys where you felt like he was yours until he got big, and now other people starting to talk about him. Like, wait a minute, I've been on this guy for years. Right. But anyway, definitely Nip. K. Dot. I gotta go with DMX.
Okay.
I'm at number 5.
Yeah, 5 right now.
No, you're at number. Yeah, this your last one. I hope you pick right, bro. I hope you pick right. I know my wife is in the comments like, yo.
On. The pressure is on.
Man. Yeah, I mean, I gotta go from my heart, man. I'm gonna go with for me, I'm gonna go with Tip. I'm gonna go with T.I. I'm gonna go with T.I.
My wife is screaming right now in the comments.
I gotta ask you this, Vi. Now, there are 2 people that you didn't name, which is fine. But there is one that I really got a question. How did you not have Biggie in your top 5?
That's a great question. My list was already as cliche as it was. So, but the reason being, I think is because I'm from the South, and originally I'm from Dallas, Texas. So that's where the West Coast influence come in because we were close to the West. And then moving to, I'm in Montgomery, Alabama. Yeah. We really on Pop. So I'm gonna be real with y'all. This may sound crazy. I'll take the hits. I didn't listen to Ready to Die until I was like 21 years old, bro.
Whoa.
I didn't listen to Life After Death until I was 20. I listened to Life After Death first, and they inspired me heavily. They inspired me to the point to where I know this is gonna sound cliche too, but I stopped writing for a period because I studied Biggie and I stopped writing, and I just was coming up with songs just off my head, right? And Jigga is another one, Jay is another one, right?
Yeah.
But the reason why
that was the other person.
Right. But the reason why I had to go with those artists is because they've been very influential in my upbringing. And the reason why I had to give Kendrick a spot is because Kendrick is influential to me now as an artist. And I'm a Christian artist, right? But still, just the way he approaches it, it reminds me of that feel. So I hope that saved me a little bit. You know what I'm saying?
A little bit. I'm really surprised being from Texas. I'm surprised you ain't say Scarface.
I know, right? I know, right?
Yo, but I'm gonna tell you though, bro. I'm gonna tell you the whole thing with Nip, right? I'm not really big into the rap game at all, right? But I feel like I missed out on following Nip because once Nip got, once everything happened to him, a cat like me, that's what made me actually start listening to him. Because I remember it was a Sunday night. I'd never forget it. I remember my timeline on IG and Facebook going crazy about Nipsey Hussle. Now, this may shock everybody. I had no idea who he was. I didn't know a Nipsey. Had no idea who Nip was.
A lot of people, yeah.
And so when the tragedy happened, I'm one of those guys that you was talking about who came on the bandwagon late, like, oh, Nip. You like, nah, I've been know about Nip. I text one of my homeboys who I know who's into rap. I'm like, yo, Jay, you knew? He said, did I know Nip? He started like, you got to listen to this song, and that song. So now when I'm in the gym, grinding all my life, that's all I listen to is Nip.
Yeah.
And it's funny
Nip was that guy, man.
Yeah, it's funny that you say Nip and Kendrick because their song together, that's on my playlist. So
and they both from LA.
Yeah, I get that connection, bro. Absolutely.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
It's crazy. When we first came on, we just dove right in, and I'm listening to you talk, and then we played the video or played the track, and I'm like, where is this guy from? So thank you for clearing that up. Not to mention your top 5.
Absolutely, man. Well, the single is "Get It Together." Everybody download it, man. Like I always like to say, it's a special place in my heart for Christian rap, man, because again, it's still an uphill battle. Like he's saying, it's so traditional when it comes to gospel music. I hate a box. I hate it. I hate it. And I just feel like, you know what I'm saying, there's a lane for everybody, but don't keep, the Christian gospel music out of the box. It's still radio stations that won't play it. I'm at 3. Only one station that I'm at, they embrace
once a week.
Right. Once a week. You know what I'm saying?
You talking about WIMG, right?
Oh, no. IMG, we ain't playing nothing. I'm talking about Rhythm and Praise.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
They embrace it. They embrace it. I don't know what you playing, Coco, but if during my shift, we not playing nothing but maybe an Uncle Reese song.
Oh,
you know what I'm saying?
We'll come back to that. So what I am going to say, though, I would like, if you could send some music over to me, that would be dope. Because now that Hassan is saying that, I can let you know that I am a radio personality on WIMG 1300 in Trenton, New Jersey. And on Friday nights, we have a segment from 6 to 8. It's a 2-hour block where we are playing the hip hop and Christian rap. We're playing Big Red. We got Uncle Reese. We got.
Oh, you started it up again. All right.
I started it up again. So definitely get with me, if you can.
Absolutely.
We can, start playing your music right here in Trenton. So
let's do it.
Absolutely,
please. But again, tell us where they can find your music right now.
Yeah. You can go to my website, bymoon.com. That you'll find all of my albums, my projects, my videos. You'll find my mailing list. You can join my mailing list. Just add your email, and you'll get up-to-date information on new music and even some inspirations, words of motivation. But whatever you stream on, whether it be Apple Music, Tidal, Spotify, whatever you're using, just type in my name, VYMOON, Vi Moon. First name Vi, last name Moon. And you'll see albums come up. I got an album called THUG. That means the homies understand good. I got an album called PG-13. That's really just telling life stories of when I was in the streets and doing my thing out there, but bringing it full circle to now. I got an EP called 8, which is means new beginning, which meaning we're bringing it to a new beginning and how we're approaching things, how we're approaching our dreams, how we're approaching life. And then I have a project, it's called The Moon. That's kind of near and dear to me because when I was doing secular rap, if you will, I used to go by The Moon, but now I kind of flipped it and said, if you think about the moon shines light in the dark. And that's what I feel like I do. I like to be a light in dark places, if you will, just to bring a little spark of hope and inspiration, if people need it. So, and then you got the singles. I got 5 other singles out there, and we're working on a new album. So just check me out anywhere you get music.
All right, man.
Appreciate you joining us, bro. Listen, everybody go cop that single, man. Get it together. Start streaming them, man. Let's get his numbers up, man. I'm looking forward to this project. Vi, appreciate you gracing us with your presence, my friend.
Thanks, brother.
Appreciate you, bro.
Thank you.
Right. Well, I'm going to be honest with you. I enjoyed that segment. Miss Jones is in the house.
Jones, yes.
Miss Jones is in the house.
She is.
I'm going back to Hot 97 real quick. You feel me? I'm going back to Hot 97.
She is a platinum-selling recording artist. She's a graduate of LaGuardia Music and Art. If you're from New York, you already know only the real singers went to LaGuardia. If you couldn't sing, you couldn't go. She's a graduate of Syracuse University. This is important. She's the first Black woman to have a syndicated morning show. All right? The first. Queen. With the Miss Jones Morning Show. She's a radio legend and icon, and she's going into her 8th week of her reunion show, which is it was a pleasant surprise to me. So I reached out to her, and she got back to me soon. Man, this is a dream come true for me. I wanted to do radio because of 3 people: Frankie Crocker, Angie Martinez, and Miss Jones. So give it up to the legend. Jonesy is in the building. Welcome to Root Access Live.
Welcome. Thank you for coming tonight.
Hi, guys. Am I frozen?
No.
Nope. You look beautiful.
Wait, but I can't see you guys. What am I? Oh, my God. And Jalen's not here.
Oh,
Well,
you can't see any of us?
You can't see us at all?
So you guys are frozen. And I'm frozen, too, but it says I'm backstage.
Oh, no, you're on.
All right.
The people can see you. You're live.
It's Women's History Month. Don't do this, y'all. It's Women's History Month.
No, we gotta make this happen. The devil is a liar.
Absolutely.
Let me press this.
All right.
Nothing's happening. Wait, how about I leave and come back in?
You can do
come
it.
back.
You can do it.
Okay.
Yo, Miss Jones, if y'all don't know Miss Jones, she go way back. Y'all talking about radio. I'm talking about mixtapes, Miss Jones, okay?
Yeah.
Yo, Miss Jones.
Where I want to be, boy. You remember that song?
What?
Where I want to be, boy.
I can't wait till she get back on. Yo, she's dope. I can't wait, but I have been watching the reunion as well too. So
I saw a smile on her face. You good?
You see it, Jonesy?
All right,
Jonesy. I know this is not your reunion show, but you have to do lovies for me. So,
you have to.
Yeah.
Hello, lovey.
Oh.
Lovey.
Yeah.
Lovey. My freaking sister hates that. She's like,
I know you said that.
Off.
I love it. I look forward to it every week.
Thank you. And now I'm doing it just because.
Jonesy, welcome.
Oh my, that was so fast, right?
Yeah, it was. It was. But yo, this is a dream come true for me. I've been following you. I told you since, being from New York, being from the Bronx. I remember my mother was a party promoter back in the 90s.
Okay.
And Ron G was one of her, she gave him his starts in the beginning, like 92, 93. Went to Ron G's house. He played What's the 411 for me. Like it was like fresh out the crate. It was about to come out. And then he also played his new mixtape, and you were on it.
Yeah.
And it's just like, yo, who's this girl? Then we started seeing you around, and then you hooked up with Dougie Fresh, I believe, after.
Yeah.
And then I believe you came out with your first single, and then next thing you know, you're doing radio. So just tell us about how you got your start, because again, you're not a novice, you're educated, you went to Syracuse, and you know that. Why did you want to sing?
Thank you. You are so kind, all of you. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely.
So I always wanted to be a singer since I was a little girl. I just never thought it would happen because I never saw someone like me from the hood be on TV. But so I just kept like signing up for talent shows. And then when it came time for high schools, everyone watched Fame back then.
Yep.
I didn't know it was a real thing. And when it came out, and we used to have these little books that had all the high schools in them that you could pick to apply to.
Yep.
I applied, but my mother was like, you're not going into the city. That's 3 trains and 2 buses. And so my music teacher called her and said, I think that this could change Tarsha's life because she really has what it takes. And so my mom let me audition. I got in and she let me go. And after that, I still hadn't been discovered. All my other high school friends, they were auditioning. Jennifer Aniston was a peer. She was auditioning. Chastity Bono was a peer. She didn't have to audition. She was just, they were good.
Yeah, of course.
I needed to apply to a college because I hadn't gotten famous yet. So my sisters had gone to Syracuse. That's all I knew. And they told me, you're going. And I applied and got in on music, but they were only teaching classical music. So I still had to sneak and try and do plays and things where I could still do my little R&B music. And so as soon as I graduated, I still hadn't been discovered. So then I applied to Howard University for music and I got accepted, came home. My mom died 2 weeks later. Can't go to Howard. Yeah. Don't know what I'm going to do. Don't even know how I'm going to live at this point.
Yeah.
And then I met Doug uptown, getting some glasses on my mom's Medicaid card. And he was in front of Men's Walkers and Biz was across the street, but Doug was right there. So I went over to him and started singing. Somebody had a boombox because back then there were vendors. And the song that was playing was like a B-side Denise Williams song, but I knew it because I'm like really into music at this time.
Right.
And loving Denise Williams and all the girls, Angela Bofield, all of them. And so he said, it's funny. I was planning to remake this on my album. I just signed a deal with Buster Records and MC Hammer, and I was going to need a female to sing it. I'll call you. So I'm like, bye, Doug. Nice meeting you. Never thinking he'd call.
Right.
And he called like the next day.
Wow.
So I actually met Doug first, but then we were on the road trying to promote his stuff, and he kind of got sidetracked with his stuff. But my next door neighbor was friends with Ron G, like really good friends. He used to hear me singing through the wall. So he was like, I got this friend who makes mixtapes. I'm like, mix what? He said,
what's that?
Right, what? So he said, just come with me, I'll take you. And we went, the 2 bunk beds, him and his little brother. Ron used to share a room with him. And we made the mixtape that night, and I didn't know what it was. And the next weekend, I happened to be on Jamaica Avenue, and I heard my voice on like out in the street, and I just was like, "Oh my God!" Like
Ron G, he's cooking up the fat beats.
Yeah, this mix is 10. Oh, Ron G.
Yep, mix is 10.
And it was the greatest feeling. Like I knew at that point that I liked this feeling, and I wanted it to keep going. So Ron and I would go meet every night and just try and work on songs. And he's like, I got this label. He's interested. And he asked if I had a female singer, or he heard the mixtape. And so I'm like, I'm with you. Now, mind you, Dougie right now is with Vicious doing Them Girls Are Freaks together.
Yep.
And I'm like, I got to do what I got to do. Ron's paying me all this attention. Let me go with this. And then Ron got a job spinning on BLS. So we were like a team. And then he walked the tape into, we worked on Where I Want to Be Boy. And one night we did that song. And back then we didn't have access to studio where you could plug it in. So I had to keep singing it all the way from the beginning all the way to the end so we could get a good tape. And we did. And then he walked it in and we got signed. And it wasn't a huge deal. It was actually $55,000 for a whole album. But back then I'm like, I don't care.
Right.
I'm going to get seen and prove to the world. This is just a stepping stone. A big label's going to pick me up. And eventually it did happen with Motown. But you're just so happy back then to get this far. You've had so much loss. You need something to hold on to and to believe in. And that's what Ron and Dougie gave me.
Wow. And you know what's so dope? Because when I first heard about it, that's the first thing I thought about was the mixtape with you and Ron G. Like, that's the Miss Jones I know. That's how I first heard of you. So dope. And I even played it for them. And I mean, just super dope. I appreciate you. Like they said, you are the first Black woman with your name on the morning show. That is huge. I'm a radio show personality myself, so I want to thank you, give you your flowers now for paving the way and making it possible for me to have a voice on a platform and can say what I want to say. And also, I admire, your strength. You don't back down. Like, you've always been yourself. That's who you are. Appreciate you. Love you.
I appreciate that. Although sometimes I wonder, should I have backed down? I might still have a problem.
Well,
no, we got to get into that. We're gonna get into that. How did you then transition from singing and signing to Motown, then getting into radio?
Right. Oh, so no. You know what? I got into radio before I got on Motown because I was on Ed Lover, Dr. Dre, promoting either Don't Front or Where I Want to Be Boy, one of the singles. Mm-hmm. And I prepared. I tell all young people that are trying to get into the business, you have to do your research. You got to know, just because you're the artist, radio personalities have egos too. So you need to do your research and find out what music they like, how they got started. You got to find a connection.
Right.
Yeah.
So I knew that they did this thing called the roll call. So I made up a roll call, practiced it for like 2 weeks. I knew, and then when they said, Jonesy, you want to do a roll call? I'm like, me? I guess I could try. Right?
She knew you were ready.
Like, oh, that sounds good, and
that may be what you're gonna do with J.O.B.
Right.
Okay.
Connection, and then the program director heard the interview and was like, wow, you did great. Did you ever think of doing radio? And I was like, radio, I'm going to be a big star. I really don't have time. He was like, just humor me. I'll train you. it's something new I want to try. You'd be the first female singer to actually become a radio host. So I was like, I'm here for the firsts. So I said,
Right.
but I can only do weekends because I'm still doing shows. And he was like, okay, so do Sunday after your shows are over. And I did that for like 5 years. And it was just fun to me. I never looked at it as being a full-time career because I'm still trying to get this album going. And then I signed with Motown. And then I'm really thinking Andre Harrell is like going to be the second coming. He's going to make me the second coming of Mary and Jodeci and all things Uptown Records. And then they got rid of him. Then George Jackson died. It was a mess. But I still held on to that radio position. So when all those ships came falling down, I'll never forget. I had to leave my apartment because the rent was too high and Motown was like not paying anymore. I had $10,000 left and I had to figure it out. So I found an apartment uptown for like $900 a month. And I was sitting amongst my boxes in my living room. And Tracy Cloherty happened to call. And she's like, what's wrong? And I didn't want to tell her. I was like, nothing. And she goes, okay, well, I wanted to know if you ever would consider doing mornings. It wouldn't be co-host. It would be like you'd be the third man, like you go out in the van and I'm like, would I get a full-time salary? Because
hello, $900 back then was a lot.
That's a lot, right?
But I was coming from paying $1,800.
Oh,
but I still needed to figure out that $9 because if
That's
you already
right.
got 10 in the bank, so. And I was all I had. I didn't have my mom to go say, Mom, I need my room back till I figure it out. So she's like, it'll be a salary. So I negotiated real low, but I knew it was enough. It would be enough to cover my bills until I could figure out something else.
Right.
And so we hung up. She was like, all right, you'll start on Monday. And I jumped up and I was like, oh my God, God is so good. And that began the beginning of me saying, this is fun. I'm meeting a lot of influential people. It's not that hard as long as I pay attention and I learn and I research my guests and I, follow what Pat Prescott is doing and what this one's doing. Right. And then next thing I know, it's Fat Man Scoop and Miss Jones in the morning, and then it's Miss Jones and Star Buckwell. Then he fired me, and I wound up in Philly. But that firing was the best thing. I didn't know it then. I was fucking off. But it wound up being the best thing to happen to me because when I went to Philly and I was on my own, Philly changed my life.
Now, what year was this? Because didn't you do 2 stints in Philly?
I did 3 stints in Philly.
3 stints in Philly.
Wait, 1, 2, like 4.
Really?
Jesus Christ.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
The same station like 3 times. And then the last state, Power 99 was the last. But the reason I won the lawsuit, wait, what lawsuit? We didn't get to that yet. The reason I won is because the judge was able to say, you knew what she was, and yet you keep hiring her back. So don't sit here and act like she went against your morals or your ethics. That's what you hired.
Right, right.
And won. So yeah, that was 2002. And then I came back to Hot 97 in 2004. But when I was in Philly, like they were like ranked, they may not have even been ranked, but like let's say out of 60 stations, the beat was at maybe 59.
Yeah.
But I brought them to number 3 in 3 months.
Yeah. And I think that may have been 2006 because I live right outside of Philly in Bensalem. And when I came here, I heard you on the radio. I was like, Jonesy is out in Philly?
It was stint number 2.
That was stint number 2.
So when they heard me back at Hot 97, they asked if they could syndicate my Hot 97 show in 2006 back into Philly.
Wow.
And then when I left Hot 97 in 2008, I went back to them in person.
Okay.
Gotcha.
Okay. Yeah, I knew.
I was going to ask you this because, like, there can only be one first. There can literally only be one first.
Right.
What does that do for you when you can put that on your resume? I am the first.
I don't know. We about to find out though. Like I just started running with this. Started running with it like 3 months ago, and I'm like, wait a minute.
Like you had to sit back and process that, right?
I never stopped to think. I just knew I always had to pay my bills. I never stopped to think. No, I always had to pay my bills, and I always had to keep my ratings high because Z100 was on my ass and Power was on my ass.
Yeah.
It was only when I stopped doing radio and was home with the kids and got quiet with myself and like started reevaluating my life. Like it made me try and find my passion and my purpose. And then, you know, I have this illness with this tumor that keeps attacking. It's been attacking my jaw since I was 12, but it never goes away. It goes away and then it keeps coming back. It keeps coming back. It keeps coming back. So I was fighting with that. And I said, maybe this is God's way of saying, be lucky that I gave you the years that you got to do singing and radio.
Right.
But while I'm thinking of, like, I'm trying to build myself back up, I'm like, you fought a lot. You broke a lot of barriers. And yeah, Wendy helped you a lot and she gave you a blueprint, but you're different. Like, you're a lot different. And then it dawned on me that I was like the first Black woman to be a named show. And then someone was like, no, Wendy did that too. For 1 month, it was Wendy and Company on Kiss. But then I said, she wasn't syndicated.
That's right.
She wasn't syndicated.
They made me dig for that first.
and that's big.
It was only like 6 weeks ago. And I was like, you ain't taking my first from me. And I realized she wasn't syndicated. So then that's when I was like, I'm standing in that. That means something.
It means everything.
I'm glad you brought up Wendy because you guys just had a reunion of sorts. You know, it's so funny how you coming back now and now, you know, you get to kind of rehash things with people. I saw you mentioned Mother knows, and you're right. I didn't know who he was until he was on your show. And the fact it really broke my heart that he didn't reach out to you all of this time.
Hold on 1 second. We're not going to ignore that face, though.
No, I'm looking at her face. Like when she said it the other day, I'm like, he didn't reach out the whole time. I didn't know who he was. He's still on the radio till this day on the same station. So it's like that's really whack to me. But forget that.
It's whack. No, we don't have to forget it because let's not get people feel like it's a pass when you don't call them out. Now they don't have to own it, but they don't get to skate by.
Right.
I picked you up for Blog Talk Radio. You had all of like 9 listeners, and I gave you a shot because I thought you had something. I'm good at finding talent too.
I'm here.
But I see. Because I like that. I like this vibe.
Hello.
Listen.
It's cute.
It is. No, we did our research. You know, we always do our research before.
You have to.
Right. Yeah, you guys have a great thing going here.
Thank you.
Thank you.
No thanks needed. It's real. And so anyway, like when I got let go, I don't want anything. I just want to like, I don't know, like close it out, like say something, but don't avoid my calls and you don't make any.
Wow.
And then the first call you make is when I do the reunion show and you hear us talk about you, then you want
almost 10 years later.
Don't jump back on me now.
Exactly. No, there's no conversation at this point. There's nothing to say.
Yeah, you can keep it over there.
How was the reunion with Wendy? Like, how was that? I know that was your girl, and you know things happened, all of that Kevin crap. You kind of resolved that. How was that reunion?
There have been way more people that have done way worse in shorter periods of friendship.
Sure.
And when you go through stuff in life and you see you're standing alone and you remember the only person that was there to make that call or tell you, call Philly, you need a job, tell them Wendy told you to call.
Right.
So despite everything, when I needed to pay my bills, I never forgot that. And I just was hoping that this day would come because I always knew it was Kevin getting in between us and you know, just trying to block. But who knew that it would come through Mr. C? 3 months ago, I never thought that I would be back doing any sort of radio or podcasting or nothing. This is like spring football season, wrestling. I'm in the trenches with my kids. That's what I've been doing for the last 12 years. So my mind is absolutely blown away. And the fact that Wendy called me twice today And we're getting together tomorrow.
Oh,
That's
We
crazy.
had a whole big, and she's excited and I'm excited. We're like little kids, like getting off the punishment, getting back together.
so is it gonna be recording when y'all get together? We gonna get some tea, we gonna get some this.
Wendy don't play that.
This is just a sister moment.
Okay. I'm just asking. I know the people want to know.
I'll talk about it on the podcast. I'm not gonna, I'll tell you guys like what we did,
Okay.
punchlines, funny moments, and but yeah. So we can't ever have like cameras or recordings because I think she does that for a living, and that's like that ain't what she comes to me for. She said, Jonesy, you were there before all of this.
Right. Oh, you sound just like her.
We used to cut up in that studio, and I know you love Angie, but when Wendy and Angie went at it, I was Team Wendy.
Of course.
Right. We had an alliance from back then.
And I can't believe they went at it. I didn't see that. I didn't know that until I read Angie's book. I said they had a beef.
It was so funny.
Everybody loves Angie.
I
thought.
Right, I thought.
She's sweet, but women clash. I mean, we're all in the same. They're all in the same business, so things happen. Yeah. It is what it is. I don't even want to talk about it. So
it was about. You want to know what it was about? No.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Spill it. Absolutely.
Oh, I do. In the book, Wendy had mentioned her dating Q-Tip.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Actually, you know what? She talked about that on the Breakfast Club like a couple of weeks ago, I think.
Yeah, it was like a blind item thing. Yeah, I remember that. But Jones, what were you doing for 12 years? How did you maintain? Like, you were literally off the scene.
Yeah.
So we thought from the outside looking in. How did you maintain? Was it that lawsuit?
Yeah, but that money goes quick because even though I downsized to manage, I've always been able to, because I come from humble beginnings, I don't need much.
Right.
Wow.
Trust. You know what I mean?
That's so sweet.
As long as they can have helmets and uniforms and go to the birthday parties with the other kids and the class trips, they're good.
Yeah.
Wow.
And then I started, I was singing with a band.
Mm-hmm.
But you can't, with my condition, I did it when I could, but then I also was consulting a radio station in Mississippi. So there were things, and then and son was very, very kind with the publishing before he passed away. Yeah. So those are checks that come, and then my checks come, but his checks are like way bigger than mine. And he always took care of me. So he's still taking care of me even in his absence. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's pretty dope.
Yeah, you said 12 years. I'm like, well, where was Jones at all this time? Glad you asked that.
Raising the kids. But the good thing is that I know that had I not been quiet and still, I would have missed all the time raising my boys, and they would have been raised by neighbors and babysitters. And my oldest son, both of them are like great, but my oldest son is in like the top 5 boarding school in the world.
Wow.
Congratulations to you and him.
Yeah, thank you. So he's like my go-to when I can't figure stuff out. He's like,
yeah, he's a whiz.
Oh yeah, I heard you in the beginning. Jay, you're not even here.
Right, like, and he usually comes and fixes it. But so I know that God stilled me for a reason, because I needed to give these kids that foundation.
Right.
The one thing I love about this whole reunion thing is Envy. Like, as big as DJ Envy is with the Breakfast Club, the fact that he gets on this show every week with you, that's loyalty.
Absolutely.
That's what's up.
He's a great guy. He has fun. Look, Envy looks forward. We are family. Like, I don't care what him and Charlamagne and Angela he has. Envy is they're his borrowed out family. They can have him.
Yeah.
But this is the core.
That's the core.
He looks forward to Sundays because we cut up. It's like Sunday dinner with the family.
Yeah. And it's like y'all never left.
That's what I was getting ready to say. The energy is like y'all still were doing it since the very beginning.
Isn't that crazy?
That's a real connection now.
Yeah, it's super dope. And you said something earlier, like, you know, I didn't even intend this to be a big deal. You know, I'm gonna do radio, I'm gonna be a superstar. And now that you're doing it, it's just fun. So now you believe that, you know, doing a job that's fun is not really a job. Can y'all hear me? Echo.
I hear echo too, but I hear you.
Yeah.
Okay.
We're gonna keep it moving.
All right. Well, yeah, you know,
Getting on my nerve.
a job and it's fun is really not considered a job. But you know, I say all that to say you're doing it and you're not thinking it's a job, but you're, you know, giving people opportunities and you're paving ways and you're opening up doors and you're putting people on. So, you know, there's gotta be some satisfaction there, right?
It is a job. It's just one I don't mind doing. I think that's called a passion.
Right.
Because there are some nights that I just want to watch Don Lemon and Chris Cuomo, but I know I have to go and find the appropriate old interview that might lead into a current topic.
Mm-hmm.
And then I might need to actually prepare, heaven forbid, I have to prepare some actual dialogue. So it is work, but I love seeing them on Sundays.
Right.
Yeah.
But you make it look so easy is what I'm saying. And people are like, oh, I want to do this. I want to do that. You know, is it gratifying and satisfying, you know, that people look forward to you? And just like Hassan said, you know, you're the reason why he wants to do radio.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Do y'all enjoy doing it now, or do you find it to be jobbish?
Nope.
I
totally enjoy this. I totally enjoy talking.
I love it. And Coco and I on the gospel side. Which brings me to this. What are your thoughts on Kirk Franklin? Because we already know how you and your kids. We already know.
We throw down. I love it because it just showed like we are such a hurting society right now that I don't think we can afford any more like fakeries and platitudes and postures.
Right.
Everybody has to just like, if the pandemic hasn't shown you anything, is that God tried to still us all at the same moment and make us rely upon each other to do the right thing before we could all move forward.
Right.
So you have to be who you are. Like you just have to be real. And some people can't do it. Some people are still taking $5 flights to Mexico. So to the point, I appreciate Kirk Franklin for who he is.
Right.
And when people in our business, people try to use the fact that we talk about people or whatever as a reason for them to record us or edit us.
Right. That's true.
So I feel like, what were you trying to do with the tape? So you got what you needed to get, and you can get more if you want to.
Okay.
Well, I mean, it was interesting because, I mean, his son's mom actually came on and defended Kirk, which actually is huge because if you think about it, if it was about a money grab or putting him out there, well, this guy, his name was Harry, he didn't get what he wanted because he has absolutely no support.
Yeah.
Even though many feel that Kirk was wrong in the words they used, but I'm a father where's my oldest son. And while I understand what people are saying, and I'm not going to go as far as to say that I agree with the way that Kirk did it, but there have been some conversations that I've had with my son that I couldn't say from the pulpit on Sunday morning.
Right.
So let's not act like we all haven't had these conversations.
Yeah.
That we had in private with our children. And it's really to get them to understand the severity of what we're trying to say. Like, this is real life. And it's like with the whole Kirk situation, Kirk and his child's mom, they have tried to help carry on to the 9th degree. And he still doesn't get it. So it was almost like
the world sees that.
Yeah. It was like what you tried to do actually backfired. You got to be careful. Gotta
You gotta get it together.
But do you see how Kurt had to go? He has to go through this
Mhm.
in order for all of us to see that even Kurt has moments of
Right.
of bad discernment.
But it's actually vindicating him, though. That's the crazy part.
Right.
It's vindicating him because now the truth has come out.
The truth has come
Right.
out.
Right.
The truth has come out. But you know what? Thank God that Kurt was as strong as he was, because when the public starts bashing you,
Man.
it almost makes you want to cut a deal with your with the person that's victimizing you.
Right.
To
Right.
make
Yeah.
it all go away. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm glad
That
he
is
put
true.
10 toes down in it.
And you know what? I was really pretty mad about it. Anyway, I didn't even think it was a story. I'm like, just like you said, you know, conversations that you have with your parents. I mean, my mom looked at me out so bad sometimes I hurt my feelings. Like, what? Like, I didn't even think it warranted a story.
Right.
Like, it is what it is. So all he did was prove his dad right and being a BAN.
Right.
So,
Right. So big up to Kurt.
right.
Now I know you gotta go soon. I can really talk to you all day. I got
Right.
one or two more questions. Now, have you had any regrets in some of the interview? So two things I can remember specifically was the tsunami incident during the High 1970s and Aaliyah, which you were with Sean Buck Wilder when Aaliyah passed away and all that whole stuff. But I remember listening to that, and I remember you being very quiet, like uncomfortable. Is that a big regret of yours? Because that was, I think they got fired at, wasn't it? Like,
No, I got freaking fired. And here's the
you
thing.
got fired.
Yeah, I wasn't quiet. I cursed him, and then Tracy, my boss, was like, "You don't curse your coworker on the air," and I got chastised. But then an hour later, when Pepsi and McDonald's and Coke and Sprint and everybody started pulling their commercials,
Mm.
and they stood up for the girl in the show. She yelled at him though. She stood up for Aaliyah. Then I was the princess.
I know it was something. Yeah, I know. Wow, and you got fired.
Yeah, because after that, like they didn't fire me at that moment, because then right after that, 9/11 happened, and that was
Correct.
over. But that next spring, when it was time to renew contracts, Tracy let Star kick me off the show, and that's how I wound up in Philly.
So they revisited something from a whole year ago. How petty is that?
Well, he'll never say
Uh-huh.
that that's what it was, but she had already renewed my contract. Like we already had a number and everything. And she said, Star doesn't think that you're a good fit for the show. So
How?
Give me a break.
How? Are you serious? Did it not recognize the ratings?
Right.
Well, he probably thought it was mostly him, and it probably was. But it's okay, because guess what? It was time for me to go and get my Philly greatness and become a female solo morning host and get my training in.
Yeah.
Well, it was you for me, sis. I don't know about all that. It was you for me.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I mean, by her coming to Philly, right? You probably
Right.
was able to hear her.
Thank
Right.
you.
Oh man, this has been great.
The tsunami thing,
Yeah.
people don't know this because back then there was no Zoom in 2004.
Right.
We had Zoom. The radio station paid hundreds of thousands of dollars
What?
for Zoom. They didn't want the listeners to ever know.
Zoom was a thing back then.
It wasn't called Zoom. It was called some sort of fiber or something technology. So I had just had Jalen, and I wasn't trying to come back in the studio because I was breastfeeding. So they set up a TV in my house, and I could see Envy. I could see into the studio, and they could see me. So they could cue me when it was time to say, "All right, guys, we'll be right back. It's Hot 97, blah, 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 blah."
Okay.
So when
Sound like another first.
Hello.
the first Zoomer, right?
Right.
So the producer did that Tsunami song while I was having Jalen. When I signed on after the new year, he played the song, and because one of my other producer, Tasha Tay Research, her real name is Tasha.
Mm-hmm.
She was the one that he made sing on it. So everyone thought, because the female girl singing on the song was named Tasha, they thought it was Tarsha. So they said that I wrote and I sung and I played.
Whoa.
But
Wow.
I wasn't even physically in the studio to be able to play or sing on anything. So when the lawyers came in, because they wanted me out, the Asian community wanted me out, everybody wanted me off the air. And it would have been a lot easier for Hot 97 to just let me go.
Right.
But when the lawyers came in and they found out, they're like, why didn't Barry Mayo and them tell us that you haven't been here? And I'm like, because they probably were hoping that you guys would fire me before you found out. But Envy, once again, stood up and said, Miss Jones hasn't been here in 6 months. So the lawyers were like, so how could she have done that?
Wow.
And they said, we keep trying to tell you that she didn't. So the lawyers changed their tune, and they probably are glad that I didn't sue them.
For sure.
But so
Wow.
I never got a chance to clear my name, because once I got back, it was don't mention it again, just move forward. Let's hope the listeners forget, bygones be bygones. And then months turn into years, and years turn into more years. And so now I'm telling, that's what happened.
Jonesy, you need to write another book, though.
Wendy said people don't read books anymore.
Oh, that's a
That's
lie.
true. That's not
That's a
true.
lie.
That is not true.
I would love to. I started already, but just I need a co-writer like I did with the first one. She was like, she would ask all the questions, because my mind is like white noise. Like I have so much in it.
Mhm.
I need that. But yeah, thank you. That's a good.
Yeah, and as you can see, I'm asking you the question. We're asking. Yeah, we don't talk. Because again, people not only read books now, they listen to it. So that's still a mark. And then you put your voice on it. But
and now we've got Kindles and stuff like that. So yeah.
Yeah. What is next for you? Because I know you're getting your feet wet now with the reunion shows. I know you got the bug again. What can you tell us?
I'm just like I said 3 months ago. I didn't think that me and Envy would be even talking.
Yeah, crazy.
Where we are, like we never had beef. We had misunderstanding, but all of this stuff, I didn't even imagine. I never dreamt it. I never dreamt I'd be interviewed again. I was happy with the kids. I had made myself become happy being out of the scene. And I certainly never imagined Mr. C and Flip and all these people coming around. So I'm just being present to all the love and the support and the roses.
I don't know what you do Thursday nights at 7, but we're here. If you don't have anything next, we're here Thursday nights at 7 on the Root Access Live show. I'm sure we can fit a spot in.
I would have been here, but I usually have my Jack and Jill meetings which is why I'm so sorry I was late.
No, you're fine.
Please, no apology.
Right on time. This is great. This is great, Jonesy. I appreciate you so much for responding to me. Like again, you're one of my idols. I loved you for a very long time, and way back from the 90s to now to see you doing good, raising your children. Now you're back like you never left. This is amazing. You're welcome anytime.
I appreciate it. You guys keep up the good work.
Thank you.
Going on here.
And before you go, too, I've been listening to the whole, interview and what you've been saying and how you've overcome everything. And it looks like you're winning season and you're going to keep on winning. And I'm going to keep on following. So I'm excited about that. But we definitely really appreciate you, being here. And, I listened to the reunion show with you and give you your flowers. And I was like, wow, how can I top that? So I don't even want to top it. But I want to congratulate you again and, let you know that, we love you. You are loved. You've been loved since the beginning of time. Like Ron G. I mean, I probably was not even going into when that came out, but I was rocking. So, definitely, look forward to whatever you have going on next.
Yeah.
Thank you. I appreciate it. For those of you that haven't heard it, you can go on YouTube. It's the Miss Jones reunion, or the Miss Jones reunion.
Morning show reunion. And I think you just did episode 7. So episode 8 is coming on Monday.
This Monday coming up at 6 p.m. And if you can, please like and subscribe and get some friends to like and subscribe. I didn't realize how important that was.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Thank you guys for having me.
Thank you, Jonesy.
Appreciate you.
Come back soon.
I will. I certainly will. You know where to find me.
Absolutely.
All right,
All right.
guys, bye.
All right, bye.
Wow, y'all, that was a great show.
No,
Two great
man.
artists.
Crazy.
Yeah. I
So
see
we
your,
really gotta figure out what's
your
going on.
facial expressions, though, Jinx. I don't know. You was like you were amazed at a lot of things.
Yeah, because I mean that's royalty right there, right?
Absolutely.
That you guys are in this game, right? Y'all are in this game for real, and so I'm just trying to get my feet wet. But to have the opportunity to talk to somebody of her stature, I'm just like, man, what? All these people she knows, she's rocking with, she's been involved with, man, icons in the industry, and we was just talking to one, man. So I
She put
am.
a lot of people on, though, dude. Like, please don't ever sleep on her.
Nah,
And for those
Jones
of you
is
who
icon.
don't know Miss Jones, y'all need to go back and
Iconic.
research, yo.
We don't even gotta talk about all that though, Kim. Like, I mean, we don't even gotta go there.
When we listened to Miss Jones, James was in church.
Right.
That convention.
Yeah.
I mean, like
He's a young
everybody
boy.
want to talk about my youth, man. Come on.
Yeah, but no,
He's the
that's
baby of the
super
group.
dope, y'all. I definitely appreciate y'all stopping by tonight. It's been another great
Thank you,
show.
Cheryl.
Thanks, Mom.
Yo, we had some great dialogue, two great artists. I mean, don't get no better than that. Thank you all for tuning in. See y'all next Thursday.
Bye,
Same
Moon
time, same place. Bye, Moon and
and Jonesy.
Jones. 7 p.m.
All right.
next time. Come join us. Don't stop.